Hello, everyone. Welcome to another match in the 2021 Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament. We've got a first round matchup here, game one between Humbugh and NYRambler. I'm joined in the commentary booth by Captain 1977. Captain 1977, got any thoughts on this matchup to start us off with?
Rambler, interestingly enough, almost didn't make it into the tournament, the top 128. So he was just on the outside looking in, and a couple people unfortunately had to drop out. So he got in, that went into the 128, went undefeated 4-0, and now he's one of the top seeds in the top 64. And it's one of those things that are amazing to see. You'd love to see that. It's one of those. All right. Anywho, yeah, it should be a great matchup. I've watched Humbugh and Rambler throughout this whole tournament. They've been putting on great shows for everyone here, and it should be a good match. Hope to have a good match.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of what you're saying about NYRambler just barely making it in through the qualifiers, but then really cruising through groups. It really shows you that you can kind of put aside what's happened in the past with regards to these players and really it happened. So NYRambler went undefeated in the group stage, but who really knows? He could keep going undefeated. He could just not. You never know. There's so many good players in this tournament. So anything can really happen here.
Absolutely. We are underway.
And just like every other tournament match so far, this will be a hard standard match. Seeing we get a nice little red potion there to start off. Will be good to check the sick kid later, and also just nice to have a red potion if we need it. We see a map check there. We've got blue pendant on Swamp, red crystal on Hera, and then regular crystal on Eastern Palace.
Yeah. So we're going to get a random starting weapon here for the uncle. What do you like to see for the starting weapon?
I would like to see a magical weapon today. Probably the fire rod, because that's one of the magic weapons I like to see. But we're going to see bombs today, which, at least you don't have to farm for bombs. But bomb escape is, you don't get any trackable items from the uncle, so it can be a little bit less favorable than some of the other ones. We're seeing 50 rupees. Early game money can be okay, but generally that 50 is not the best item you can get there. So yeah, one of the cool things about bomb strategies is it's really one of the items that you benefit the most from just putting in a little bit of practice in. Because if you don't really practice any of the other items, you can kind of just get away with knowing how they work. But for bomb escape, there are some nice little strategies that you can see to make the first few kill rooms are easier and make it so that you can conserve bombs. So we'll see what the runners decide to do for these rooms.
See some nice bomb strats there. Both going to use the same tactic here, and okay, we're good.
Yeah, both those runners showing off how if you've done it, they've definitely practiced this bomb escape there, knowing just where to put those bombs so that you can make sure you hit it with the first one, and then after that first one hits, you know where he'll go to hit that second one as well. So very nice to conserve bombs and make sure you get through this room. Because another thing about bomb escape, like what Humbugh just showed you, is that sometimes you'll end up getting hit by your own bomb. So you really have to be a little bit more careful than usual because you might take damage from your own attacks. Yep, and we've now seen our both our map and our key for this escape sequence. So every other chest will be an item.
And make our way down to cell. You're gonna see them use the pots on the ball and chain guard to conserve those bombs.
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to use those pots. They Pots do about the same damage as the Tempered Sword on most enemies, so that means you just need 2 pots here to destroy this ball and chain guard, where you need 4 bombs, and the bombs would take a long time anyway, so very good to just use the pots here.
We're going to pull a heart container out of the cell today. That's the first one we'll see of those. Of course, our hearts max out at 14 hearts today.
Yep, different combinations of Sanctuary Heart, Full Heart containers, and heart pieces, being able to get 16 heart pieces, I believe 6 hearts containers, and then Sanctuary Heart to cap us out at 14. So even if the runners are at, like, say 11 hearts, you could still see that blocking you from getting any heart containers specifically. And kind of to go back to, like, more stuff with the heart item pool restrictions. We will not be seeing our silver arrows today. In addition to that 14 heart restriction, we will not be seeing our gold sword, our mirror shield, or any mail upgrades. So this escape, Humbugh's been able to actually get a decent sized lead just from having, he had that second blue guard in escape, was able to get him in 1 fewer bomb than NYRambler. So that's kind of the main difference so far in this escape.
Do have to be careful with the key rat coming up here. He can get away from you very easily with the bombs.
Absolutely. You really want to make sure that you have at least 1 bomb going out of here. So you do not want to end up wasting 2-3 bombs on that key rat.
Picking up 50 more rupees in the Dark Cross chest. As we make our way through the sewers.
Yeah, we see that extra heart container makes that strategy Humbugh just did a lot more easy to do here, because that's really the best way to guarantee getting that key rat, is just kind of hold that bomb over your head and walk into him. Having the extra heart, you don't have to worry about accidentally taking a hit.
Oh, and Rambler blowing up the wrong rat, unfortunately. He's got to find the correct one. There he is.
He's going to, unfortunately, not have any bombs. So that's going to weigh a little bit in the back of his mind. Hopefully for NYRambler, he'll find his glove soon, so he's able to come back here and get that escape item. We did see the flippers in there, which we will need to get at some point, most likely in the seed, because it's, well, at least logically. But you can still do the flippers checks earlier without them, so could also not be too punishing, even if he does have to put those off.
Uh-oh. Cape early.
Yep, the cape early. There, you kind of got 2 chances. Either the cape just happened to be there early on its own, or the cape's early here because we have to do Aghanim. But we still got a lot of items to see before we have to worry about that.
And Humbugh is going to use those flippers right away. Gonna head on down here to Ice Rod Cave. Nice and early.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice little choice there, because you're not gonna have to worry about going to Ice Rod Cave to set up your fake flippers afterwards. You just have the real flippers. You can always save and quit and start your flippers checks from the where Lake Hylia Island is. Meanwhile, NYRambler is going to give us our lumberjack check, which is not the standard thing you see when you don't have the boots, but some runners still like to do it, especially when like NYRambler is when they don't have bombs, because you can do your bush crab and your tree pull on the way into the Lost Woods, and maybe one of those things will give you bombs. It looks like Humbugh is also going to give us a hobo check early. Or perhaps he might just be swimming over here to get over to the... No, he's going to go to the hobo.
By 300 rupees, there in the Lost Woods, drop down, and he's probably going to head over to Kakariko, buy some bombs, and be able to do the rest of Kakariko.
Yeah, it's sometimes a little bit annoying when you have to buy bombs before going to Kakariko, and perhaps that's one of the reasons why Humbug is deciding to take the route he's taking, because maybe you can get some bombs somewhere else. We'll see if how he likes to handle that.
Find our second bottle there on the hobo, so it was filled with blue goo, so it's useful, it's fine. And Rambler there back in tavern looking for bombs. Hopefully they didn't have to buy any, but not to be. Oh, sick kid, it could also have bombs. How about money to buy bombs?
Yeah, he's like, sorry, I'm all out, but here, you go over to the store and pick some up for me. Get yourself a candy bar on the way over there. And Humbug also going to go up there and check the lumberjack cave, see that it's just a small shield, and we won't be getting that today. Perhaps that cape kind of weighed into both these runners' minds, wanting to take an early lumberjack cave check. See that bow over there, which is a nice pickup because we can clear out our Crystal Eastern Palace at some point.
Okay. And wow, that bottle vendor does not like money. Paid up 100 and he gave you back 300.
Yeah, hard to see the business model there. Maybe the next time you pay him 100, he gives you a 20. I don't know. Meanwhile, NYRambler is giving us a look at this Kakariko well. A whole lot of nothing so far, but we get our shovel, which, I mean, I guess this isn't a bad time to get the shovel. You can turn that in pretty quickly.
That's really about the best place you can get it besides like the race game.
Looking a bit of a sync up here. Both of these runners, despite taking different routes, end up in Blind's Hut at about the same time. All right, so we got a glove and a moon pearl in here, so off to a good start with regards to getting Dark World Act at some point. Also nice there for NYRambler, will be able to get his back of the escape check whenever he feels like it. Looks like right now makes a lot of sense because he's already cleared out all but of Kakariko, but the race game and the library, and can also just go get those from the south with his shovel when he feels like it.
And Rambler is going to take that boat and head over to Eastern right away.
Yep, heading right up there. Also, these runners both have gotten a lot of money, so with those flippers as well, they can check Zora when they feel like it. So we're really looking for a hammer or another glove to get into the Dark World here. That early cape, we saw that early, but we haven't gotten any of the other items that would let us go beat Aghanim yet. So these runners got a little bit of a relief in regards to that.
And okay, Rambler decided not to go with the Eastern. Just check Saha. Now he is going to go do the more traditional route of the South Shore checks.
Yeah, you'll sometimes see that early Saha as well as Hut check. I'm a bit surprised to see it with Eastern Palace being a crystal, but you also can just want to combo in Eastern Palace with Palace of Darkness, though you still would need a hammer and a mirror to think about doing that. Interesting to see NYRambler put off the back of Escape for this, because normally you like to go there really quick because you don't want to know that your opponent didn't get some nice little advantage on you, but he's electing to not worry about that for now. Get our first look at the dam item. Is the bug catching net. NYRambler deciding not to pick that one up.
Heading down to Biddy Bulldog Cave. today? Bombs.
Meanwhile, Humbug is going to give us our shovel and the rest of the South Dark World checks, because both of the, or sorry, South Kakariko checks, because nobody, the way these runners routed it, no one's checked the library or the race game yet, because they both had to buy bombs.
We find our first sorted mini molder.
Yeah, that's really nice for just having a sword is nice, and also if we want to sequence break any dark rooms, having that glove, which allows us to go to Death Mountain, or having that bow, which allows us to full clear Eastern, that sword will just make getting around those dark rooms a lot easier. Does put us closer to Aghanim, which you do have that in the back of your mind, having that gotten that cape as early as they did, but they still need the lamp before we have to think about that. Alright, we'll get NYRambler will get to go into Ice Rod Cave, which we saw earlier from Humbug, and Humbug's going to go follow NYRambler over to the South Shore checks. Looks like he's going to go to the dam first. Some runners will elect to either skip the dam and do it with Agina later, or just do the dam to Agina to Mini Moldorm, especially when you get a seed that looks kind of particularly like you're going to have to do Aghanim, but this one's kind of like a coin flip, because if you find your lamp, then you know your mountain and Eastern Palace are both going to be fully in logic. But if you find your lamp, then Aghanim is also in logic, so it's kind of like, okay, at least we get Aghanim, but we also get a bunch of checks that could be the hammer or the glove.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just kind of seeing both runners already go over what the other one has done, and just note this is game one of the brackets, top 64. As we remind everyone here to give our runners a follow, as Rambler picks up his blue goo from the hobo and gonna hop down. Just be sure to stay tuned today. We got lots of matches going on today. So, and Humbug's having a little problem with those mini rooms today, and he finally gets them down.
Yeah, it's surprisingly hard to snipe those guys with the arrows or hit them with the hammer, just because they're just a little bit shifty. They can avoid those kind of smaller hitboxes. It looked like Rambler got a little glitch there and has to save and quit there, so he doesn't. He got out of bounds somehow, so he got to save and quit to get back to normal. But yeah, like you're pointing out, this is game one, so whoever loses this match is still in the tournament and would have a chance to come back and win the final two. Their opponent is already set, so whoever wins this series will be going on to face Pika Pals.
Let's look into the waterfall here. We got our first green 20 with the heart container.
Yeah, the seed has been really healthy with regards to heart containers. Already up to 7 hearts, despite the fact we have not stepped foot into a dungeon yet.
And our Zoro Ledge item is our second shield we've seen. We're not gonna have the fire shield today, folks.
Nope. We'll be at best getting one shield forced upon us, because neither of the runners are going to pick up that shield or the one on Agate or Lumberjack. We'll see if Zora's going to give us any help today. If he doesn't, then we've really just got Eastern Palace left, plus Agina that we haven't seen from these runners. You've already seen the back of Saha's hut.
We did see the shovel on Humbug's side. It was just a red 20. But yeah, depending on what we find here in Eastern or Agata.
Yep, we gotta find something. So it's most likely either the lamp or the hammer, because those two items will give us the Dark World access. It could be something else, I guess, but no, there's not many other one-off items. I guess we could get the flute, which would give us the mountain, but that would just be 2 checks. And then there's some other items, like if we got the mirror and the lamp, we get some additional checks, but not too many other checks left in logic. I guess the book you could get to give us some Desert Palace checks, but really lamp or hammer are our most likely finds. or another glove for Dark World as well. And NYRambler following Humbug right over there to the Eastern Palace. So this is definitely the suspense for the runners, because it's whether or not this is going to be an Aghanim seed is kind of still up in the air. That cape early kind of tips it. You're thinking that if you had the Master Sword versus the cape, it's maybe a little less. The cape, because this tends to be more of a harbinger for having to do Aghanim. So we'll see what these runners get in this Eastern Palace.
First, just the big key that puts the big chest in logic, since we do not have fire yet. And we're gonna there's 3 items here in desert plus the one on Agina, so not many checks left. What could be? We'll see.
Yeah, we know we have to get something because Aga not in logic yet, so we would need to get our lamp to be able to do that. And but we could also just as easily get our hammer and get our Dark World access. The lamp showing up in the big chest of Eastern, it happens. It seems to happen more than you would think, just because you come here trying to avoid Aghanim, and then you're thinking that maybe there's only 2 items here, and then you get the lamp, and suddenly
it really does happen. It's unbelievable. Or you find the myths and you have Dark World access.
Yeah, it's very nice there. And our boots. Definitely another great item to get early.
Okay.
Yeah, so those boots feel really nice just to go fast. NYRambler electing to take the gamble that the vanilla big key chest does not have an item, and just going to go straight back to the boss. So humbugh is making the same decision as well. So Chad asking about the lamp. The lamp can be hiding in a lot of places now, because we've got the whole Dark World in logic, plus some boots checks. So we don't need, if there's an item back here on Armos Knights, it could still be even fire rod locked, so that wouldn't even tell us anything about the lamp, because the big key was not in the vanilla chest. So this boss here is fire rod or lamp locked, because we're playing on advanced logic today. So as long as there's a torch in your dark room, that's in logic. And kind of getting back to what's happening on screen, Humbugh gets a really nice quick kill there on the Armos Knights, and does not get his second item or third item. So there is an item in that vanilla big key chest.
It's something that's gonna be waited. Both of us mind here in just a moment. They think about what they're gonna do next. They're gonna save and quit. Probably head over to.
Yeah, save and quit the stank here makes a lot of sense, because you can do both King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks and then go into the Dark World. The only Dark World that's logically available is the Titan's Mitts, and that's really the only Dark World they can get to at all. But they could also sequence break the mountain for 2 more checks, but there's just some more checks on the Dark World. You don't want to. You can always see an argument to get the save and quit point whenever, but definitely Dark World, much better option.
For Rambler also, he could do the back of escape now too.
Yep, we'll get to combo this in nicely with his King's Tomb check.
So with those flippers in hand, we can actually get over to pod area. We find a red 20 in there, the Bonk Rocks.
Yeah, this particular loadout is a bit nerve-wracking because, okay, which dungeon do we decide to go into in the Dark World, or where do we go? Because we can go into Thieves Town and full clear it except for that big chest, so you could gamble an item there. Both these runners already elected to gamble one item in Eastern Palace, so maybe they'll decide to do the same with Thieves Town. You can also go into the front of Skull Woods. We don't have the fire rod, so maybe this map check will help. We'll see a red crystal on Skull Woods, a green pendant on Swap, and a red pendant on Pod. And I know both these runners were kind of hoping to have Swamp Palace be a crystal today, but no luck. You're getting green pendant Swap, and you'll like it.
Yeah, there was two. Sorry, go ahead.
So both these runners deciding to go into Skull Woods, which is kind of a up in the air play. Do you do it or not for a lot of runners? But I think with this particular item loadout, it's most runners I think would come in here because you're kind of one item away from really wanting to dip into a dungeon. Like if you get the fire rod here, you can just finish up this dungeon. If you get the hammer here, then you can do Thieves Town. Whereas if one of those items are in here and you don't do it, you kind of just lose out on a lot, I guess. So with the item load that they have, it's a more attractive play than normal. Haven't seen an item yet over here. Did see NYRambler have to use a potion in this Gibdo room, but able to get that piece of a heart. So we got one item.
And there was a second item on Humbugh's side. That was a red 20.
Okay, so empty Skull Woods. Chad asking about Aghanim requirement for hammer in Pyramid Fairy. Yes, that is a thing. You can bypass that with a couple of different ways. You can do a bomb dupe. You can even, so with the flippers, you can do the bomb dupe without having to use any other glitches. But if you don't have the flippers and the boots, you could set up a water walk to do a bomb dupe as well. So the bomb can swim. It's fine with swimming. What it's not okay with is jumping into the water. So once you jump into the water, the bomb will leave you. But if you're in the water, the bomb will swim with you. And these runners are going to give us the Village of Outcast checks. They can even do the Smith chain right now, but it's really not fun to do the Smiths without the mirror. So we'd probably, at least even if you're kind of apprehensive about Thieves Town without a hammer, you'd probably see them go in there and do at least the first 4.
And the bumper ledge is going to have 10 arrows today. So cape not necessarily useful right now, but it could help with bosses later.
Yep. Still could be logically required should we get to that point where we need the hammer from Red Crystal, because our other Red Crystal is Skull Woods, so we just need the fire rod to get that. But there's a long way to go before we have to worry about that, so cape not looking required today.
Bottle number 3 of the C-shaped house is...
All right, to be continued on what that first item of Thieves Town is. It's not the small key, that's what we can say for sure. I think it was, so we heard the sound that sounded like a completed heart container, so I think that might have been 2 heart pieces in front of Thieves.
Compass, which means the big key is going to be vanilla today.
Oh, no, the first chest was the big key.
Oh, okay.
Process of elimination. But you do not like to see that, because now the only chance for us to not get an item in the big chest is if the key is locking itself. So it's pretty likely there's an item in the big chest today. I guess it's like, what, 66%, because blind can't have the key, and then there's 2 checks back here that could have the key versus just the one where we'd like to have it locked away.
Nice dash there through the hallway there, using that cape to not take any damage. We head through the top, gonna head into the baited, or the top floor. Where's our card? All right.
Yeah, especially in the morning.
And there's our sync card there, so good to know.
Yeah, very humbug already up to 10 hearts. Not very many. The items have been a bit sparse, but found most of our hearts.
And Rambler is taking our friendly bullfrog here on the world tour. Gonna head into Hype Cave. Opting to skip Thieves Town for now.
Yeah, kind of hoping that you get another item that would really make, I guess, your decision for where to go a little bit easier. We'll see if he ends up getting it or if he's going to have to make the same sort of dive into Thieves Town.
That Cane of Burna will help with the blind fight, actually, because that is a really nice item to have against blind.
Yeah, if you ever get into a pickle against blind, you can always just activate that Cane of Burna. It does damage to him, and you'll be able to defeat him.
We find the small key in the baited cell.
Yeah, and with what we've seen so far, it's looking like, unless you want to take a long walk over to the East Dark world to get something, or do a mirrorless Smith chain, that you are probably going to be looking at this mirrorless Smith. Also, NYRambler has not done the South Kakariko checks or the shovel, so perhaps that's weighing into why he decided to do this mirrorless Smith play, because you can combo him with some other checks. Humbug showing off blind fight. You just always want to make sure you do the same thing every time here, and blind will also do the same thing every time, so you can get a pretty nice, easy defeat on him like Humbug showed us.
So there is an item in the big chest. We're not going to be able to see it right away.
Yeah, and Steve's Town being completely empty, you're not feeling too good, but I mean, at this point, there's we've got some items in pod that you could get, and we've got like catfish and pyramid lights, but with this item layout, you really want to be sure before you go over to pod, because you would like to be able to just beat it when you're over there. Though then again, it's pendant, so we don't have to.
See, our Smith says for us, ooh, the fire rod.
Yeah, so that is, we already know for Skullwoods that we've gotten both items. So that's not going to give us any items immediately. It will unlock the Pyramid Fairy, which is not in logic yet until we beat Aghanim, but these runners probably would be able to sequence break that. But you're definitely going to need that at some point. So we'll see when we get our mirror, which would be the next time when you want to get that. NYRambler finally going to check the back of Escape. We'll get this. They'll get to see that the flippers are in here.
A heart container, a heartbeat, said there are those flippers. Rambler already up to 12 hearts, and we're barely 30 minutes in. Very healthy seed here. Now, where does Rambler go from here? As we're getting our South of Kakariko checks here. Stumpy, just a piece of heart.
Yeah, it looks like NYRambler, or he still hasn't done Bonk Rocks, I guess, because I thought he might be going up to Sequence Break the Mountain, which there's 2 checks up there you could get. But they still have the whole East Dark World. It's just you really want to do all your other stuff first there, because it's just such a long walk to get there. And if you have to say don't do 2 trips over there the long way, that just feels so bad. So you want to make sure, okay, I'm going over here, and I'm going to get the progression that I need. And if I have to do a double dip, it's only because the game forces you to do it. Chat putting out, yeah, we've gotten the lamp, so the mountain is in logic.
I did not see them pick up the lamp there.
Yeah, I saw it on the tracker when we got the fire rod, because I noticed that wasn't our first fire source, but kind of otherwise neglected the lamp.
See, Humbug is going to be swimming with the Smith here.
Yeah, I can go over to the Palace of Darkness area. It looks like he wants to do the long world tour. And we'll get our first look at top Spectacle Rock and interior Spectacle Rock cave from NYRambler over here. We see half magic up there, so we'll probably want to get that if we're ever in the area again when we have the mirror. And a red rupee over there. There's our book on Humbugh's side, which we will be able to beat Desert Palace. It's a pendant, so we probably won't want to rush into that. But we still have Agina as well, so that'll come up at some point in the near future if they don't get other progression.
Yeah, taking that frog all the way to the other side of the map. Gonna check what's at the catfish.
Yeah, we're gonna see the frog and the catfish meet each other. NYRambler looks like he's no rush to beat Skullwoods right now because we know that there's no item there, and we do get a red crystal, but still don't really trust that. He hasn't gone into Thieves Town yet. And nothing there from the catfish. That book will be a nice little thing that Humbugh could decide to do differently than we've seen from NYRambler. But he's definitely going to turn in this Smith, and then yeah, and you could even route in that, it would be a bit annoying, but you could route in going to Desert with the purple chest, which at least makes that purple chest with no mirror a little less terrible than it normally is. Because now we're down to Palace of Darkness and Purple Chest and Desert Palace Agina for our progression. And none of those are that fun, especially with how far it is to get to Palace of Darkness with this loadout. And then the Purple Chest being just kind of not fun to check without the mirror. So it looks like Humbugh probably is gonna he might go over and clear out Skullwoods just because he can. Looks like he's gonna check the pedestal. So get your pedestal hype in chat. The pedestal is not in logic yet. We would still need our hammer and our mirror and our hook shot. So there could still be some nice items on here like the ice rod or the cane of Samaria. Or the flute, or your medallion. And that is the cane of Samaria, so we have a pet seed today.
Yay!
So that is really big there for Humbugh, because now he knows that makes Desert Palace a much more attractive play. It's got two items plus Agina, and we know we're going to need to get that pendant at some point. So that's definitely really good information there for Humbugh. We'll see if NYRambler elects to get that when he finally gets his book.
Chat is going wild right now. Pet seed, yay! You'd love to see it. All right.
Yeah. And on the flip side, so normally with the way that pod being 5 items, and that's like the most dense set of checks they have left in the game, normally I think, okay, I'll just go over there. I can't clear it, but that's okay because it's pendant. But now it's a pendant that you have to beat, so you really would like to get the hammer before you go over there. Humbugh gonna elect to double back over, probably gonna clear out Skullwood so he gets his red crystals. Because I think that he's thinking about doing purple chest here because now with Desert being an even better play, this is definitely the best chance to do your mirrorless Smith because you get that save and quit. You have to make the long walk over to Desert Palace anyway. Just turn in your purple chest on the way. Oh, and Humbugh has not gotten the second item in Skullwood, so that's another reason why he would want to come over here versus NYRambler already hit both items, so it would just be here, coming back here for the boss.
Wait for the wall master to come down and grab him. As Rambler is taking out blind.
Yep, gonna show us the same idea. Just do the same thing you're used to every time, and blind will do the same as you. Though getting two a bit unfortunate spins. So blind went down to the bottom of the screen, which can mess you up a little bit. But these guys are no danger of dying, having 13 hearts already. So NYRambler able to take up one there.
Well, no checking the bottom chest here in Skullwoods. We're just gonna run right to the moth.
Yep, gonna pick up some extra hearts and magic because these runners are still on fighter sword and they don't have the hammer. So this is about as bad as your Mothula fight can get in this mode, because you need at least one sword to get to Moth, and you also need the fire rod to get to Moth. So this is the least possible items you can have while still being able to get there. Ooh, NYRambler electing to do purple chest mirrorless, which we know from our perspective might be a bit unfortunate depending on what's in there, because we know that comboing in with desert later is going to be a really nice play. So Humbugh has a red potion and a blue potion, so he's not in as dire straits as he looks like he is, but this is not an easy fight. Just a red boomerang today from the purple chest. NYRambler going to go over and do a Gina and check this desert ledge. And Humbugh able to dispatch Moth. If you didn't know he had the blue potion, it looked a little touch and go there for a minute, but with that blue potion, able to use the fire rod. Gets the big key of Skullwoods, but we won't need to use that. We already got both the items. So we already have both of our red crystals, with only having 3 crystals. And we'll get our first look at Agina. This has been in Logic forever, and it's just 20 rupees. So now NYRambler is pretty much forced to have to go over to that east side of Dark World. There's really no other checks left for him in the entire game. Probably will be a bit bummed to see the book there, because if that's your only progression on the east side, it's really annoying that you already went to Desert. So I guess maybe he's reminding us that he has Ice Palace as well. We can't beat this dungeon without the hammer. If the hammer is in here, that would be really big for NYRambler, because you do not want to... Ice Palace without the hammer is really annoying, because you don't even know if you'll be able to get how many of the items you'll be able to get, especially since he doesn't have the hook shot either. So those other items, which he could get, but they're not in Logic. So definitely a gamble here.
You could say he's a Rambler gambler.
Yeah, you could say that.
So Humbugh's route here is going to be really well. He's going to turn it to purple chest, head over to desert right away.
Yep, we know Agina is nothing, but I don't think... did NYRambler show us that ledge? I didn't see it. Probably did, since he has the boots.
Yeah, it was just a 50 rupee.
And Humbugh gonna save Agina for later, because sometimes when you have you're gonna have to beat desert and you don't have anything else to do afterwards, you can just go back and beat the boss, and like you can gamble skipping the right side, and then if you have to go back to the right side, you can jump down right to Agina afterwards. So it's just really nice. And NYRambler getting low on bombs, which can be really annoying when you're going into Ice Palace. It's not as annoying in this particular situation because he's not really thinking about doing the bomb jump, because unless the hammer's in here, you don't need to do the bomb jump. But you still need at least one to beat these guys. And we see Boots Lock Desert over there on Humbugh's side. We've had the boots for quite a while, getting those in the big chest of Eastern. So not a big concern for this runners, but is nice to know. Looks like NYRambler doubling back to this game.
Yep, forgot to grab the key.
Yeah, it really makes sense to not do the bomb jump here, because it makes getting to the iced tea room a little bit easier, and there's really no reason to do it since you can't beat the boss. Unless you were to find the hammer in here, then you kind of would regret not doing the bomb jump, but that's kind of a long shot.
It's the unfortunate thing about running low on bombs here. You usually see bomb strats on these spingators, but if you don't have bombs, you just got to spin to win. Now he has a bomb.
Yeah, we didn't get to see what was in that second chest of desert. We'll know if it was an item by when we see this landmo skill from Humbug. All right, so we got Freezor chest and potentially, I think the Ice Tea chest is just in logic always because of the unkey locked side. There's our Master Sword, not a bad item to get, but also no progression for us. So I'm not sure what NYRambler is there. I don't know if there's any bombs you can get in this room because, yeah, he's realizing that he has two choices: either take the key locked door with no small keys, or do the bomb jump with no bombs. And neither of those are very nice choices. So unfortunately, the iced tea room was in logic there if he would have gone through the bottom side and gone up those stairs. But I believe there still could have been an item there. So you're kind of feeling bad, definitely, because NYRambler is not going to go back for the one. If the hammer is in there, for instance, he's not going to go back and get that. Humbug showing us fire rod strats on land molas, getting a little bit of misses, so we're gonna have to finish them off with the fighter sword or the bow.
A little bit of the NMG strats there using the bow.
Yeah, that was really nice to follow that guy and hit him with two bow shots there and get the KO on that one. So a bit of a longer land molas fight, but honestly, those were some pretty nice bow shots. So it could have been a lot worse after he missed the first few fire rod shots.
Just a 50 rupee there, and Rambler is going to swim over here, probably do catfish in the pyramid. It's going to find that book.
Yep, so at this point, it's looking like Palace of Darkness. We've even seen most of Ice Palace that's in logic. So really looking like Pendant Pod is our play. We'll see if Pendant Pod is holding the hammer like it is known to do, or if it's got something like the mirror or the hook shot to give us some other locations.
Of course, Pendant Pods, that's something you usually like to see, but in a pet seed, it doesn't really matter, so you got to do it anyway. Might as well go ahead and clear it.
It's only annoying in this case because they have to dip. If you're dipping Pendant Pod and you can't full clear it in a non-pet seed, you're like, okay, I can just go in there, maybe get all the items anyway. But now if you might have to double dip Pendant Pod, which that never is a good feeling. Humbug has not seen the mountain yet, so he's going to decide to do that before Pendant Pod, which makes a lot of sense. You really want that save and quit point. There's also a good possibility that our next progression will be on the mountain. So if you get progression in Pod, your first play may be to save and quit to the mountain, depending if you get, say, the hook shot or the mirror. So it makes a lot of sense to do this now. Chat asking about book, just give us about 20 seconds and you'll see it over there, maybe for 5 seconds. It's right there on the pyramid. So NYRambler is gonna go right over to Pod because he's just got the Desert Palace checks, the two in there. He doesn't know about the pedestal like Humbug does. For those of you who are just tuning in, Humbug has seen that the Cane of Samaria is on the pedestal. So this is a pedestal seed. NYRambler does not know that, having just gotten that book. So if you're rooting for NYRambler, you probably would like to see him get the mirror relatively soon, because then when he beats Skullwoods, he'll be able to just check that pedestal and not really lose on the information game. But Humbug knowing that already is a really nice advantage. He knew that Desert Palace was, you had to go and meet that boss.
It really looks like there's something here in Pod at this point.
Yeah. And I guess the one thing we forgot to mention that is in logic that the runners are not thinking is in logic, or if they know it's in logic, they just don't want to do it, is the big bomb is in logic. But the logic for it is beat Aghanim. But you could always sequence break that. So Humbug gonna take his long walk over to the Palace of Darkness area. And you really saw it from both these runners. When you get this item loadout, you really want to make sure before you go to the East Dark World, like it's a big commitment. So you kind of want to know, okay, just how far am I going to go in there? And having basically nothing left to do except the Pyramid Fairy, they're just going to go into pod.
We did find a Quake Medallion here in pod so far. Seems to be our first item. We head to the Bowlock side of pod.
Yeah, we can see one item at most back here, having already gotten one in the front. Just our key there and a compass there. So we know that all the other chests are going to be keys here. NYRambler having to take a very annoying death warp here, having all of 13 hearts and no mirror or hammer. So that Quake Medallion we got here, that could be something later in the sea. We will need to enter into both Mire and Turtle Rock, so maybe that'll be required for entry, but definitely not progression at this point.
We headed to the back of pod, where usually all the business happens.
Yep. So we've got 4 more items in pod. There could be one in Helmasaur King. If not here, then it's got to be that Pyramid Fairy or the Ice Tea Room, which that would be. Not sure which one you'd feel worse about at this point. Probably the Ice Tea Room, because you never want to get hammerless Ice Palace. It's just so annoying, especially without hookshot, because then you don't even know if most of they could be like no items in logic over in Ice Palace. Oh, and yeah, chat pointing out both of these runners elected to skip Eastern Palace Vanilla Big Key Chest, so we kind of forgot about that one.
That is a good point.
That being the hammer, both of these runners would be feeling behind the entirety of this race.
Making our way through the not so dark maze with that lamp, we find 3 bombs.
Oh, and chat pointing out that Tower of Hero was our red, not Eastern. Sometimes it's hard to read these little starred things. I didn't even see the one on Mothula. And we've got the mirror over here, so that's their progression in here, so that's good. The runners did not have to get forced to hammerless ice or vanilla big key chest. That gives us Tower of Hero up here, which will give us the bomb that we've been talking about, and also gives us some one-off mirror checks. Like Bombo's tablet is in logic. It's not good logic because you have to go into Ice Palace to get that second sword and then walk over there and do that chest by itself, but it's available. So it's Ether Tablet.
There's that mirror in the turtle chest.
And they're both going to be able to get that half magic, having the mirror on the way up there, which is really nice. Just a nice little convenience item. Hey, we are forced to get a shield today. Having seen the other 2 shields, that will be the only one we get, but not going to be able to dodge with the shield today. Humbug might be able to. All right, we just got a compass down in the basement, so we may need to go to the tile room of Tower of Hero. We'll see what item we get here. Big key, so we get to dodge it. We don't have a hook shot, so neither of these runners will be able to hero pot up here, unless, say, the hook shot's in K45 or Bombo's tablet. The one nice thing about this pendant pod having most likely or logically required double dip is at least the big key wasn't in a nice location for your opponent to be. You have to worry, okay, what do they get? Do they get something nice in Ice Palace or one of those other risky checks and be able to single dip this?
We do find a small key there in the chest. He's going to jump across, find first item, piece of heart. So there's either an item here on Moldorm or it's in the basement.
Yeah, and NYRambler is showing us a little bit of a nice thing there, where if you set up a bonk on that bomb jump, you can get a little bit more pixels of leeway on setting up your bomb jump, which is really nice on that one because there's a lot of loss if you miss that bomb jump. You have to go, you fall down some floors. And also that mirror has given us the dreaded possibility of hammer and first chest of swamp. So we've got hammer and ice palace possibility, hammer and swamp possibility. Hopefully for our runners, it's not that, but there's really not that much else left. That's neat, nice. That flip gives us stuff though. Now we can go to the Meyer area.
Go.
So the progression really trickling in this seed. They had the mitts were one of their last locations, mirror were one of the last locations, and now that flute one of the last locations they have available.
Yep, the seed is saying, okay, you got this, go here now. Okay, we'll give you this, go here now.
Yeah, and we'll see when NYRambler elects to go and beat Skullwoods, because having the flute and the mirror, there's really not much of a better time to do that now, because he's cleared out all of the Kakariko stuff. So, I mean, he might still have to come to this portal again at some point, given that we don't have other Darkwood access. But having that mirror, you gotta wonder when Rambler will go and check that pedestal. Because if he gets that now, before going to Meyer, he'll know he has to beat Desert and be able to beat that while over there. So this could be big depending on if when he decides to beat that Skullwoods boss. So we'll see where Rambler going here and not going directly to Misery Mire tells me that he's probably thinking about doing Moth, which may lead him to get his pedestal check, which will be really big for him, because knowing that Canis Maria is on our pedestal today, we'll be able to inform his decisions a lot better than if he had to check that much later.
And it's very fortunate to find that barrel when he did. And the humbugh is taking on Moldorm. Much more difficult time with just the Firestorm. Gets it down very quickly. Very nicely done. Rewarded with a flute.
Yeah, that normal vanilla fighter sword Moldorm can be really rough. At least they had the boots today, which is also the vanilla setup, because you can dash through them with the boots like Humbugh was showing us. If you do not have the boots and have to deal with fighter sword, it can just be quite an annoying fight.
So that mirror in hand, that makes the big bomb a little bit easier to do. Unless, well, no, it doesn't. Just kidding.
You know, actually, I think you're right, because the way that these guys will be doing the big bomb at this point is the bomb dupe. So one setup you can do is you jump down from where Lake Hialeah Island is, and then you mirror at 0 to get the bomb dupe, and then you go back in your mirror portal, swim over to the pod area.
It's still pretty difficult.
Oh no, it's difficult, but that is a setup that you can do for this bomb dupe.
Yeah.
Skip Aghanim.
Rambler taking out the moth. Almost down, and he's down.
And we'll see if we're really hoping, Humbugh for sure is hoping that Meyer is not Quake, because we know that the Canis Maria is going to be a little while till we get that. Luckily, it's Bombos today, so we don't have to worry about going in Caneless Meyer for some other sort of progression that's not the Cane.
Meyer shed. We got 300 rupees. Okay.
Yeah. How many times does that happen? So now we could go in. We could be forced to go into Misery Mire, and at this point, it's not even that bad of an option for Humbug because he's got Ice Palace, he's got Eastern Palace, and Swamp Palace. 1 check in Eastern and Swamp, and then 0 to 3 from his perspective in Ice Palace. So these possible 2 items, 1 to 2 in Swamp Mire doesn't sound that bad.
And he is gonna take that Bombos medallion, and I had to double dip this Misery Mire.
Yeah, this seed has just not been nice. Lots of last locations. Aghanim is somehow still alive, and it's already a pet seed. So, just not a nice seed. And they're still on Fighter Sword, at least for Humbug. And NYRambler was able to pull that Master Sword of Ice out of Ice Palace to make it a little bit nicer. Humbug doing a really good job here in Mire 2. If he would have had the sword beams, could have done it a little bit faster, but that's no fault to him. That was a nice execution there in that room. So you can't have no sword beams allowed with Fighter Sword. Rambler gonna finish up Desert Palace here, knowing that he needs to get this pendant here for the pedestal at some point.
Hey, first sight about a mire, it's just bombs, so where else we gonna find some progression?
Yeah, at least we haven't found the big key yet, because whenever you do a dip into Misery Mire without being able to complete it, you feel bad if the big key is in an early location, because then that you always have to worry about your opponent coming in here later, being able to full clear it and go mode it. But if the big key is in like its vanilla location, for instance, then you know that whoever comes in here is going to take a little while to get it. But we are running really low on places to check, and you got to wonder if these runners ever decide to go back to that Eastern Palace. You got to imagine that's a last location, because not only is it a one-off, it's really long to get to that vanilla big key chest.
It sure is.
And just imagine finding the hammer there. Like, that would be so bad, because both these runners would feel like they lost, not knowing that their opponent made the same play.
I wouldn't even want to think about that. If you find the hammer in Eastern Palace, you think, oh, my opponent's already been here, and oh, I could have had this so long ago.
All right, let's see if this is the big key. It is the big key, because otherwise we would have map chest or that little chest over the main hallway be the big key. And yeah, for those of you guys who are just joining us, both these runners elected to 50-50 the vanilla big key chest of Eastern Palace way earlier in the game. And now they're down to not very many checks left, looking for their next progression. So we're down to 2 checks that we can get to left in Mire, looking for our last item. NYRambler having his half magic for this fight, making quick work of these land molas, not even having to worry about if you miss a few shots, you'll have enough to still be able to quickly beat them. And we don't even get our other item. Vitreous has our second item in Misery Mire. So Misery Mire was not that answer. That Bombos medallion was just complete bait. All right, going over to the Dark World. So we've got, if you're going to the Dark World here, you're either going to be doing checking Bombos Tablet and first checks of Swamp, because you definitely would do both those. If you're doing one of those, you're going to do both. And actually, that makes a lot of sense. So, like, because right now, Humbug has Big Bomb, Ice Palace, First Chest of Swamp, and he can check Bombo's Tablet. Also Graveyard Ledge, too. So,
Yeah.
probably do Graveyard Ledge first, because that's kind of all by itself.
Yep, they also have Cave 45 open to them now with that mirror.
Yep, and if you're gonna do Swamp Palace First Chest, then you're gonna walk that way anyway, because that's the only Dark World portal they have.
It's simultaneous Graveyard Ledge checks. You're gonna find just
3
some bombs. When there's 4 right in front of you, there's 3 more in the back.
Yeah, so we're really running. We've got so many locations left. Only a few locations that could be our next progression item, and they're all really bad if they have the hammer. Because like if you're thinking about, okay, what are your least favorite places where the hammers run? Okay, so First Chest Swamp, really high up there. Anywhere in Ice Palace, really bad. Pyramid Fairy, not fun either. And that's where we're looking at, because we've got 1 chest in Ice Palace we've not seen. We've got Bombo's Tablet, which is in Logic, but Humbug won't be able to get it because he only has Fighter Sword. And the sword that we have not seen is in Ice Palace. And First Chest of Swamp, and then Sequence Breaking the Pyramid Fairy, or doing Aghanim and doing the Pyramid Fairy. I guess it's not even a sequence break, because it's in Logic, it's just that you have to beat Aghanim.
And it's not Cave 45 either. Okay. So if this turns out to be something on Bombo's Tablet, that's going to give Rambler a huge advantage at this point.
Absolutely, unless there's a sword in like First Chest of Swamp or Pyramid Fairy or something, because that's definitely going to be Humbug having. We'll want to save that Ice Palace, and yeah, we're going to see First Chest of Swamp. There, it makes so much sense to check that now, because you got to come over here anyway for your Pyramid Fairy or Bombo's Tablet, and there's just not many other locations in the game, so it's just a good location to check, which is just terrible when that's.
It's just there's so many one-off locations. It's just another one.
Yep, we'll get our first look over here at Bombo's Tablet. So this being the hammer, like you said, will be really big for Humbug, because he could just go in and beat all of Green Pendant Swamp, which we know since the pet is required. It's our hook shot, so that is progression. So that's really good there for NYRambler.
That's gonna get us up the mountain.
And yeah, I kind of forgot about that hook shot when I said he could full clear Swamp. You definitely need that. I was just predicting that he was going to get the hook shot there. And the hammer. But we'll get to see First Chest of Swamp, because this being the hammer, that would be quite another thing, though it's much more likely the hammer is somewhere on Dark Death Mountain or Light Death Mountain.
Yeah.
But that's really bad for Humbug, because he's gonna get to see that he has the hook shot there, and then looks like he's not even gonna check it, which that's even. I mean, it's not even that much worse unless if Pyramid Fairy has a sword only, that would be the only way where Humbug would really lose out not checking that, because he'd go to Ice Palace first and get his sword and be like, oh darn, is this sword really my progression? And then find out, in fact, yep.
Yeah.
So we'll get to see a nice trick here. We see Humbug has the mirror out, so he's going to jump into the water here and then try to mirror right when that timer hits 0 to duplicate the bomb, and then he'll be able to take that bomb over to the Aghanim, to the pyramid. Because right now, you normally would need the hammer to hit those hammer pegs down, or beat Aghanim to get to the pyramid with their current loadout. But he's going to set up a mirror here, and if he did it correctly, he'll have the bomb following him. Which you see, bombs can swim. So he goes in, and now he can go jump over to that dock over by Palace of Darkness and walk up to the pyramid.
Meanwhile, in Paradox Cave, we did find the hammer and the ice rod.
Very nice. So we might be able to they can't full clear Turtle Rock till we get our pedestal. So that's nice, at least. You're not tempted to go in here. You'll know that we will have a go mode Turtle Rock this seed.
We got double bombos. He is going to open it just for convenience.
Yeah, for sure. You're up here. You want to open this portal so next time you climb Dark Death Mountain, it's quicker, and also open Turtle Rock. And we'll see if Pyramid Fairy is required today. So at this point, we've been on such a wild goose chase. We're actually in no mode right now because all we need is the Cane of Samaria on NYRambler's side, and we know where that is.
Yeah.
So I guess really Humbug would be hoping for a sword in here, and we have no idea what it is because we got the information has been hidden. But we'll know if it's a sword eventually. That looks like a sword, so I guess that's nice there for Humbug. He's going to be able to check Mambo's tablet without doing Ice Palace.
Oh, he did find a sorted pyramid berry. Unbelievable.
That is very nice. Because not only that, that's a sword that NYRambler will not get, whereas Humbug may still get that that freeze or chest. So then again, he'll be in go mode for Ice Palace, so perhaps not. So yeah, Humbug's gonna feel pretty bad knowing that that sword is his progression, but it could have been worse, Humbug. You could have had to have gotten that sword in Ice Palace.
Yeah, this could have been a lot worse for Humbug for sure. So, and Rambler's gonna rush these pendant dungeons here. Gonna finish up Pod, head over to Swamp, and then pull the pedestal.
Yeah, because these runners, it's no mode, but it's really more like go mode, because all they got to do is beat dungeons at this point, because they just got to go over and get they're logically in go mode. They know what, they don't need to find anything else. They just need to get that Cane of Samaria from the pedestal. And my Rambler kind of might need the Cane of Samaria, but that's the whole reason we're here. We're going to have to do
Wait a second
today. Yeah, and if not for that sword in Ice Palace, this would have been an Agapet seed. It was very close. And chat pointing out the commentary, the correct differentiation. Yes, no mode is when we know and the people don't know. But these runners both know, they'll know that they're in go mode once Humbug gets all these items in the Paradox Cave. And we'll probably, so unless there's a sword in Ganon's Tower or somewhere like one of the sunken chests and Swamp Valley chests, these runners are probably going to be doing Master Sword, because we both know they both have Master Sword, but they have two different swords. And I guess it's not terribly unlikely that Humbug would get the Freezor chest if he just decides to get it on the way in, but you could also see him skipping it. And chat's saying that it was, our tracker is pointing out that it was the spike chest actually, so that's, or there's conflicting, but I thought it was Freezor. You get to see our Helmasaur fight here from NYRambler. See what method he decides, doing the sword out hammer hits for the first phase. And we'll see if he's going for the spin speed setup where if you set up spin speed, the upwards hitbox, your hammer hitbox moves upward a little bit, makes it easier to hit that jewel with the hammer like he's doing, which is nice when you're on Master Sword or lower. And Humbug electing to save and quit because he wasn't quite in go mode yet because he needs to know what the medallion for Turtle Rock was. And once he sees that, he's like, okay, I'm in go mode, I can come back and do that whenever I want.
I'm a little surprised he didn't open it, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he has to see the opening cutscene at some point, and he's going to have to go through that portal, so I don't think I think it's a wash either way. So yeah, we're just going to see these runners rush a long dungeon rush, a rush of, you get to go mode 5 dungeons in this seed. Well, I guess not really. Both these runners only get to do 4. They could have done 5, but NYRambler already dipped, and I guess they dipped Pot too, so really only 3. But his NYRambler dipped Meyer and dipped Ice Palace, and Humbug dipped Meyer.
Yeah, you're gonna see two very quick swamps plays here. Just head right to the back. Don't have to worry about just checking the chest along the way. You're not gonna go out of your way to do anything. You don't have to.
Yep, and Chad asking what's the kind of difference between these runners? Well, NYRambler has a swamp pod clear. Both of them have the pod big key in hand, so Humbug just needs to go there and beat the boss. Humbug has the Meyer big key, which is in the cutscene chest over NYRambler, so it's still a really close race.
Oh yeah, it is anyone's race at this point.
Especially with this many dungeons left, there's so much execution. You can make up, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds each dungeon, and make up whatever lead your opponent has on you. So we're just going to see a nice little execution race between these two. The one thing about Humbug, he could check the green pendant if he wants to. It's kind of a longer check, but you can at least think about trying to get a sword from there. But very nice to be able to go moding pendant swamp here. Definitely not something you see every day. And Humbug showing off the bomb diver down there, getting it on the first try. Very nice, because not having the Cane of Samaria, you don't have any other options for your diver down setup. That green 20. We are maxed out on hearts today. Both these runners were at 13 for a while and finally made their way up to 14. NYRambler going to lose a little bit of time on this dungeon, not wanting to do the bomb diver down, instead doing this the developer intended way. And yeah, Chad pointing out, Humbug he's much more likely to get tempered knowing what we know than NYRambler. Because for Humbug to get tempered, he just needs to knock out those Freezors in Ice Palace on the way in, whereas NYRambler will probably not be doing Pyramid Fairy in the sea, which is where our other sword is.
There's still 4 swords in the pool, so we could see one in like GT somewhere possibly.
Yep.
You don't know.
Yeah, always a possibility. We know it's not going to be another one in Misery Mire, most likely. It could be on Vitreous. And then some could also get it somewhere on the way on Turtle Rock. Humbug able to get rid of his Master Sword Argus fight using those sword spins to knock out the puffs, and then that Fire Rod to help get the quicker kill. All right, so with that in hand, Humbug will be able to, well, he needs to be Palace of Darkness first, then he can, because you want to do the pendants first in this case, because you really would like to have that Cane of Samaria for Ice Palace, so you just beat all your pendants. And while we're doing this, these runners are both fully execution now. Definitely give these runners a follow. They had to go through this seed for your entertainment, so the least you can do is give them a follow.
And down goes Argus. On Rambler's side, now he can go pull the pedestal, get that Cane of Samaria.
Yep, and it's going to be really close. We'll get to see more by the time when we see. It was looking like it to depend until Meyer. Once these runners have both beaten Meyer, we'll really know where they're at. Because NYRambler is going to have one extra cutscene plus having to go over. So I guess 2 extra cutscenes, having to do the cutscene chest and the opening of Misery Mire. And we'll get to see our pedestal pole here, getting our Kana Samaria as a reward. Twisty Taurus asking him in chat what checks did Humbug have left before he got his sword? He had Ice Palace, because the seed really gave you two choices. How do you get your hook shot from Bombo's tablet? You can do Hammerless Ice to get your Master Sword, or you can do Aghanim. But he sequence broke with the Aghanim and did the bomb dupe. And then, yeah, that dreaded Eastern Palace Big Key Chest, which luckily neither of these runners had to go back for.
Rambler opted to do Meyer first. Makes sense. He hasn't been in here yet, so he's gonna want to clear that out first.
Yeah, no, and there's no really benefit. I guess you could get a Tempered Sword at some point, in theory, but not for NYRambler, because he knows there's only one item left in Ice Palace. So it's actually more likely he gets the Tempered Sword here, and they can have that for Cold Stare. And Humbug doing the same strategy we saw from NYRambler, setting up spin speed to make hitting that Jewel of Helmethor a little bit easier.
Very nice fight there. And that would be Humbug's third pendant. Now he can go pull the bed.
Yeah, and then we'll see if he decides to do Misery Mire or Ice Palace. I could definitely see him doing Ice Palace first, because he's got sort of the reverse of NYRambler, where he knows, okay, maybe I'll get a Tempered Sword in the Ice Tea chest. I already have half magic, so my Cold Stare fight's not going to get much easier, but my Vitreous fight could get faster if I were to find that Tempered Sword. But yeah, definitely still a lot of execution, no matter who's ahead at this current second. That we've still got all of Turtle Rock, all of or half of one dungeon for both of these guys, and then one full dungeon, and then Ganon's Tower plus Ganon. And we'll get to see our pedestal pull for the second time this seed. Humbug gonna get his Kana Samaria, and then get to pick one of these between Ice Palace and Mire, which to do first.
Where he flutes to 6 or 8. We're gonna go to 8, the Ice Palace.
Yeah, because this could be a pretty big point in the race. We'll see if Humbug elects to kill the Freezors in that Freezor room while he's in there and get that Tempered Sword. Because if Humbug is able to pick up the Tempered Sword, then that would definitely give him a decent little lead here, because he'd have the sword advantage, even if they're both really close. But that could also be equalized if there's a sword in GT.
See Rambler doing everything in his power not to have to do the cutscene chest. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to do the cutscene chest. That's where the big key is today.
Yeah, and it's not even the nice cutscene chest where you see a key in the compass chest and then know that it's going to be the vanilla big key, but today you just have to do it without knowing.
You see Humbug is Skippy chest here at Ice Palace too. He's not looking for anything else. He's gonna hit the switch, probably head straight to the back, maybe check a couple chests along the way. You just hope he finds the Tempered Sword at this point. It just makes the game so much easier. Master Sword, Tempered Sword is a big difference.
Absolutely. Makes even on both bosses, and really the big time save is on Ganon, saving like a minute and a half, depending on how good you are at two different types of Ganon fight, Master Sword versus Tempered. Meanwhile, NYRambler has gotten his big key, gonna walk to the back and beat Vitreous. And saw NYRambler kick up a little bit of dust there before doing the Cane of Samaria, trying to do what's called the spooky action glitch, coming up where he gets to hit these crystal switches with the fire rod from a long distance. You won't be able to tell as easily.
And Humbug did get that tempered sword.
Yeah, it's really big there for Humbug. I don't know if NYRambler was able to hit that switch or not. Looks like not. But Humbug's going to show us the nice tempered sword cold stare. It's a lot easier to fight because you can just get them in the corner and then swipe away at them. Able to get rid of cold stare very quickly. Yeah, so with that tempered sword, Humbug's definitely opened up a bit of a lead here because he's going to be able to do these bosses just a little bit quicker and just that Ganon fight. Though, and this could always be equalized if NYRambler were to find a sword in Ganon's Tower or Turtle Rock on the way.
On the video, he's going to do cape slashes. As you can see, that magic meteor is really not going down very far. You just keep slashing your sword. It will not go down very fast. And a couple more left.
Yep, the game's doing too much things at once, and it can only register so many things, and one of the things that get dropped is your magic decretion. Instead, it's good that it decides to not decrease your magic rather than not do damage to the eyeballs. And NYRambler has his 5th crystal, so now we're tied up in the crystal count and just gotta beat some more dungeons and see if see where that 4th sword ends up being, if NYRambler will get it.
And Rambler heading to Ice Palace now. Humbug headed right to Vitreous now. Haven't already been here getting the big key. And Rambler's gonna stop off, pick up a potion.
Yeah, NYRambler drank one of his potions already. Humbug still has a red, so he's feeling pretty good about that one, I think. With half magic, you don't really need to get a magic refill. Humbug also not, well, he doesn't need to do the first one. Maybe he'll do spooky action here. So this would be that's the glitch that NYRambler was going for, where if you shoot the anti-fairy in that room, you'll hit the switch that's up in the room above, and you can do the same thing here with that torch, hit that crystal switch up there. The way to set that up is you just, when you're going into Misery Mire, you come through from the bottom and pick up that rock, and then the bird flying away sets a magic computer value that makes it so that you can do that.
I just like to call it black magic. I know, I just I've heard it explained so many times, I still don't get it, so.
Yeah, and meanwhile, we saw Humbug really getting to take advantage of that tempered sword. The difference in time on that Vitreous fight between Rambler and Humbug, just from the tempered sword, is really nice.
And Rambler having a little trouble with that icebreaker here. It's not as easy as it looks, really.
Yeah, you definitely. So you can also learn how to. If you mess it up, you still have some chances. Like you can, you don't have to get rid of the Smarty block. Though some runners prefer to do it just because they're used to the timing. And meanwhile, Humbug is going to go up into Turtle Rock to get his final dungeon here. Now you definitely feel bad anytime these runners get in these high-stake races like this, and definitely can have a little bit. There can be some nerves or whatever that can make glitches that you would normally be able to do quickly even difficult. So you definitely feel for Rambler here a bit with this Ice Palace. We'll get to see our first look at Turtle Rock. NYRambler are gonna just go and do the bomb jump, which it's not that bad to do the bomb jump if you're in go mode like he is, but you definitely feel bad for losing that much time trying to set up the icebreaker. And just to get a little bit, you miss it the first time or two in a race like this, and then you get a little bit nervous, and definitely understandable. So we'll get to see a good old-fashioned Ice Palace bomb jump here on NYRambler's side. And gets that one on the first try. Very nice. Which if you're familiar, and in the regular speed run, you're not allowed to do Icebreaker. But so if you're more familiar with the regular speed run, then you're really used to doing Ice Palace bomb jump. So no, good to see there.
That change combo sit right in front of the chest.
Yeah, really rude change comp there, especially when you have to deal with green mail because this is the hard item pool. Those sometimes if you're in like a normal seed, you'll just, if that change comp's being that annoying, you'll just tank the hit. But even with the 14 hearts, the extra 4 hearts of damage, it can really add up considering all the other enemies that do a big damage here in Turtle Rock.
And Rambler finally making their way to Cold Stare. Gonna whip out bombos here, get some extra fire rush shots because he is still on Master Sword.
Yeah, Humbugh was able to just use the Fire Rod because he knew that he had Tempered Sword, whereas here you really like to have use the Fire Rod here because it does a lot more. The Fire Rod does the same damage as the Gold Sword against the Cold Stare, so it does like 4 times as much as Master Sword swings.
Right, crystal number 6 for Rambler, as he's going to make his way up to Turtle Rock now.
Yeah, Humbug showing the strategy where you can take the risk. If you get the big key chest before that lava chest, you can skip the big chest, and you're okay 96% of the time. So definitely, considering the time that it takes, you definitely take that every time because it's like there's a 4% chance you lose like a minute or so versus 96% of the time you save like 30 seconds. And now NYRambler going to do his mountain climb, follow Humbug over to Turtle Rock.
Look at laser bridge here. Gotta be careful. Fine.
Yeah, kind of low on heart.
Single arrow, 20 rupees. Uh-oh.
All right, let's see if we got the 96% or not. See, 96 still prevails over the 4%.
We're okay.
Yeah, so the 96% is there's a 96% chance that if you get the big key early enough and steal the key from that pokey room, that there will be another key waiting for you on Laser Bridge. But 4% of the time, there isn't one, but not today. And we'll get to see Humbug go into his Trinex fight having half magic and tempered sword, so this will be a nice fight for him. Showing us when you have the boots as well that you can go behind Trinex. You don't get to zero cycle him without the gold sword, but it still can be a bit nicer to do from the back like that.
You get a little bit low on health there, decides to pop that red potion just for safety. Don't want to die to Trinex here, especially when you haven't taken any outside interest since the beginning.
Absolutely, yeah, that would be one of the more costly debts that he could take, because he didn't do the big chest, or the safety door. And there's a green 20, most likely a heart, but you can always live the dream that could be a sword for NYRambler.
That is crystal number 7. We're not going to do the big key guessing game, but if you'd like to get your guesses in chat, feel free to go ahead and guess the number where the big key might be in Guinness Tower. There are 22 locations where that big key could be.
Yeah, no bot today. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to guess number 1. These runners have been through enough with this seed. I normally guess number 14, but we're going to go with 1 today. Just get this seed over with. These guys had to... Probably at least one of these guys is probably in the morning having to deal with either PED plus Hammerless Ice or PED plus Logical Aga Seed. It's not a fun time.
All right, I'll go with number 2 just to be just as nice, but we'll say number 2. How about that?
Yeah, there's a small key in the first chest then.
We're gonna go left first, and the torch is gonna have a small key. So one side of the equation. No. Okay, we're gonna go full left here, possibly. Maybe mirror out after these checks.
Yeah, you generally expect to not see full left because you can get locked out of the randomizer room, though having gotten that key, I think they're okay, especially with that key now. But going to the mirror, avoiding the Stalfo is probably just going to avoid killing them and just go over to the right side.
And he did find the powder there, though, so that's going to be helpful later.
Yeah, that's really nice since he burned his potion. Sometimes you get a little bit beaten down climbing up Ganon's tower, and you can just powder either before Land Molas or some other point in GT to get yourself a nice little heart refill. And we'll be moving on to 8, 9, 10, 11 over here for Humbug. Showing us a nice little cane kick there to get that switch. And number 8 is the big key, so not too bad of a big key layout, provided you do the route Humbug did. I did not check to see if we got a key in Hope Room, which would mean basically any route that you see will get them. Yeah, I think there was a key in Hope Room.
Yeah, so full right would have been the answer today, but that's fine.
You can see Humbug going through his Mimic Rooms, then we'll be off to the Gauntlet, which just the real execution heavy. You really like to have both the boots and the Tempered Sword, though. That's what you're used to if you do the normal speed run of this game, and it just makes it really nice to one-shot the enemies and be able to dash on those conveyors and ice. All right, on to the Gauntlet. This room here can be kind of annoying if these Stalfoses jump out of the way a bit, but handling it pretty well. Getting a bit bullied by this Demos here. So yeah, that powder will be helpful, being down to 5.5 hearts now. I'm gonna skip the bunny beam, so definitely feeling good about his execution the rest of the way through GT. And NYRambler is gonna go into his try next fight and get his 7th crystal. And with not having the Tempered Sword here, he's gonna use the hammer to beat Trinex here.
Dude, does need to be careful down to 2 hearts now.
Yeah, he did buy some potions if he wants to use them, but I think he's going to want to save those, it looks like. Yeah, just going to use the... Got half magic, may as well use that here with your cape. And Humbug showing us a little bit of a... you wait there to make sure you don't go up the stairs at the same time that little jingle happens, because that will despawn GT. And having the 3 keys will not have to get that key from the helmet store or check either of those chests. So for a quick recap of this seed, both these runners found out that the Cane of Samaria was on the pedestal today and were able to rush their pendant dungeons as soon as they can, but they kept getting last location for a lot of items. The other really annoying part of the seed, like in addition to just late locations for the mitts and the mirror, they got bottlenecked by Bombo's tablet having the hook shot, and then the Master Sword, you had a choice of either Logical Aga to do Pyramid Fairy before Hammer, or Hammerless Ice Palace. So not very good choices, but these runners, and the runners both did the other. One did one way, one did the other. We'll get to see Humbug go into his Aghanim fight. Again, the double right there. Oh, that was a really nice chance to get a triple, but unfortunately missed the swing. So we need one more hit. And down goes Aga on Humbug's side. So Humbug's going to go into his Ganon fight, and having the Tempered Sword will be nice here. It's about as loaded as you can get in this setting, having the Cape, the Tempered Sword, and all 14 hearts. Looks like Rambler's going to elect to go left in GT, which is unfortunate, unless he finds a sword there for him, because we know the big key is in the compass room. Humbug getting his trident spin there, so gonna go for the double 1 cycle here. Looks like he got the 1 cycle for phase 1, and just gonna use some dash strategies to get the 1 cycle here on phase 2. So very nice first 2 phases there for Humbug.
No, it was just well executed.
Yep, into phase 3. Just got to hit him 4 times, and then to get into phase 4.
You find the arrow silver arrows I played this evening? No, why'd you put them in a different game? That's really rude.
Yeah, definitely not, again, a little more crafty than usual in this hard mode. We saw Humbug was able to get that torch glitch, so just going to need to settle in and get some spins here on Ganon. Needs to get 12 in total. I believe he's gotten 3 so far.
Get some nice triples here. These in-between torch lights.
Yeah, Humbug's having a nice little Ganon fight here, getting the double 1 cycle and getting all these triples with the Fire Rod. Yeah, very nice fight there from Humbug. So all Humbug's got to do is cross this bridge, and he will be the victor in this game 1. So NYRambler will have to win the next 2 to stay alive in this tournament. So get your GGs in chat for Humbug. We'll see if these runners will join us for an interview. But yeah, GGs for going through this pretty tough seed, but able to get the win. And NYRambler feeling a bit behind from the Ice Palace stuff. That explains why he's routing Ganon's Tower the way he is, but unfortunately not going to pay off for him today.
Yes.
He also may have saw the race room finish and then just gave us tile room. It's pretty close time-wise based off what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and Humbug finished with an official race time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, 12 seconds. Very good seed for what it was, I guess. It had Beyond Dungeons Pet Seed, but
Yeah, with a bunch of last locations in the early game kind of forced upon you, so definitely a good time, all things considered.
yeah.
And looks like Humbug will be joining us for an interview at shortly. All right, joining us is Humbug. Good game there, Humbug.
Thank you.
So kind of a tough seed. What were you thinking about when you're going through that seed?
Please don't be Eastern Big Key Chest. Please don't be Eastern Big Key Chest. That was basically what I was thinking for 70 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, because you got last location on a few items after with that big key chest of Eastern keep coming up with like your hook shot and your mirror both coming really late.
Yeah, I was so agitated when I skipped it and it felt okay. I skipped that chest and I had just gotten Dark World access. I had just gotten boots. A lot of stuff had just opened up, and like the next check I do is the lamp, putting it in logic. Come on, that's the nerves to 100 immediately. But luckily, I didn't have to go back. I was tempted after my first dip of pod to just mirror and check it, but nah.
Yeah, your opponent actually made the same decision as you, so I'm sure the same sort of thing was in the back of his mind as well.
How about that's the fourth sword?
Yeah, that second sword. This seed gave you the choice between either having an Aga Ped seed or an Aga Hammerless Ice or a Ped Hammerless Ice seed. So either way, no matter which one you choose, you're gonna get a pretty bad one.
Yeah, I was so happy when the hook shot dropped from Ether tablet. From Bumbo's tablet, because it felt so good knowing that, okay, cool. I dodged an Aga seed, I duped the big bomb, it was successful and all of that. And then to find another sword, like just in the plain open in Ice Palace, my heart sank a little. It did not feel good finding that sword, but I guess it was okay anyway.
Yeah,
double dipping eyes is slow, so that's fine.
Your opponent actually did get that sword instead of the one on Pyramid. So if you're watching the restream, you'll see that he's on Master Sword because he got the Ice Palace sword for the hook shot and never got the Pyramid one.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you're not comfortable with that bomb dupe, you definitely do Ice Palace Hammerless before doing like Aghanim just to get access to Pyramid Fairy. So that makes sense. It's just unfortunate that it also like makes it so that you will not ever get that Pyramid Fairy sword.
Yeah, and didn't end up ever finding that fourth sword. Maybe that was in the Eastern Palace Big Key chest.
Yeah, exactly. If so, this seed is rude.
Oh, it was already rude enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so do you guys have your second match in this series scheduled already, or no?
We have. We are taking full advantage on the fact that we have 2 weeks for this matchup. So we're doing the next one on next Saturday, the same time, and a potential third race the day after that.
All right, very nice, because you guys will still need you're gonna need that one more win if you want to make it in. So good luck to you in your future races.
Thank you.
Oh, always good to win the first one, though, isn't it?
It is. It's so stressful not to win the first one and to have to come back from a deficit. But this time, I'm happy about how I played this one. I'm actually even happy. I'm still happy that I didn't go to pod before doing the Smiths. I guess it would have been faster, but I still think my decision was sound. Having the mirror for the Smith sequence would have been good, of course, but it worked out.
Yeah, and also you checked the pedestal relatively early. Was there any, just you had the book in not many locations, that all there was to it?
I wanted my play like over to the pyramid and not into pod to matter. Finding the book in the pyramid, that was basically the only thing I found on that loop. So I just wanted it to actually be something. Well, give me information at least, and it did. I was really happy when I saw that it was a pet seed.
Yeah, it really did give you some nice routes with, like, because normally the mirrorless purple chest check you had available to you would be a terrible one, but since you knew that you have access to Pendant Desert, it was not as bad as it normally would be.
Exactly. That made it cool to do that. But it also, the fact that it was a pet seed also made it so that we were required to have hookshot going into GT, which I was very happy about.
Yeah, I know you guys were both rooting for Pendant, not Crystal Swamp Palace, which you didn't get today, but you did get required Pendant Swamp Palace.
Just fine. It's fine. I'm okay with that.
And NYRambler's going into his Master Sword Silverless fight, so he's got a bunch of spins ahead of him before he'll be able to take down the pig.
Yep. 52 total spins to take down Ganon with the Master Sword, so it'd be a bit, but he's got the cape, he's got a lot of safety, he should be alright.
Yeah, you definitely love to have the cape and the half magic whenever you have to do this Master Sword Silverless fight. You can just save so many cycles on that.
Oh, it's done the one art. Where's your potion?
Yeah, I think he still has a potion because he did not use any in Trinex. So probably just gonna use as much magic as he can and drink that potion if he feels like it, or maybe just not.
Just maybe show off a little bit. How about that?
All right, so 24 more spins for NYRambler to get past this last phase. Oh, chat pointing out that he used his potion in the tower, so this is it. He's got to now or never. Though he may, I feel like he has to have another one if he's using the fire rod here.
Yeah, he has to have at least one more.
Because I don't think it's even possible to be, like, you need a full magic bar without half magic to have a chance to do Ganon with the Master Sword.
He is switched to the lamp now. Maybe he doesn't. It seems like he would have used it by now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Doing a nice job here getting triples with the lamp, though. All right, well, we'll see. He's really low on magic, but I think he's still on track if he can get another triple here. Yeah, the lamp, with the half magic, and you just keep staying on that bottom. And there you go, NYRambler able to beat Ganon with about as little left, nothing left in the tank, which doesn't matter. You don't need to have any hearts or a magic to collect this Triforce. So get your GGs in chat for Rambler, making it through this slog of a seed. And we'll be able to go into game 2 of this. He'll have to win the next 2, but definitely anyone's still in this tournament. As long as you've got any life left in you, anything can happen. So we'll see if NYRambler wants to join us for an interview as well. All right, we're joined here by NYRambler. So GG's there, NYRambler.
GG, Rambler.
I have a favor to ask of Humbug and myself. Get all the gasoline, all the matches, all the there might be a shortage where you are. I don't know, but yeah, this seed was definitely the worst that I've had in this tournament. Even worse than Qualifier 1. I played Qualifier 1, and this seed was worse than that.
Absolutely, this was a terrible seed. So you didn't, if you would like to know, you did not have to do that Ice Palace Master Sword play. You also had the option to do Aghanim to get the Pyramid Fairy Sword to get that hook shot. So the seed was at least, it gave you 2 bad choices rather than just 1.
Yeah.
I just love how casually you say that. Just do Aghanim to get the sword in the pyramid. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
I wasn't even thinking, I didn't even think at the time that hookshot was blocked by Master Sword. I was just thinking, the only thing I was thinking of was, all right, if Hammers and Pyramid Fairy, either really quick Google how to do that or just kill Aghanim. I know there's a way to do it, I just don't know how. But yeah, this seed was, oh my god. Thankfully, they were nice enough to A, give us the books we knew was a pet seed, and B, give us Ice Rod in the same room as Hammers, so we didn't have to go on Ice Rod hunt as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
If Ice Rod was like a Turtle Rock in the seed, 2 hours, 10 minutes easy.
Just add 10 minutes to the seed, to the time. If Ice Rod is in Turtle Rock as well, you have to clear everything else.
I get Ice Rod, I'm like, all right, I'm in go mode. I still want to look for a sword, though.
Yeah, you at least got to go mode those 3 or 4 dungeons rather than having the full Pierce swim.
Ice, and for some reason I just couldn't get the Icebreaker to work. The 1-frame movement couldn't get it for whatever reason. I don't know. Time to throw his controller out maybe. But that didn't cost me, so I'm not mad. What cost me is probably just doing everything in a bad order.
Yeah, you guys were actually really, really close. The main difference was Humbug was able to pick up his Tempered Sword in Ice Palace, and that just let him pull away, doing the bosses faster, neglecting the whole Icebreaker thing.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how bad my Tronics was and how careful I was on Ganon. I hate Master Sword.
Well, that Ganon fight was really something to behold. That either way, you don't have a potion, you're down the torch, you're just hoping that he dies pretty soon, and then he did. Yeah. So
well, I was counting. I was like, I didn't know how many shots of the lamp I had left, so I was just like, all right, I might be able to get by with his doubles here, and then I think I had 1 lamp left when he went down.
Still fun to watch. So, and everyone loves the pet seed, right?
Oh, the viewers did. I'm sure about that. I mean, I don't know how soon Humbug went there, but I mean, the only reason there was 2 reasons why I checked pet. One was, the main reason was that Skull was a Pyramid Fairy Crystal, because I already got both items on the Skull, so there was no reason for me to beat it when I did. Except that it was a Pyramid Fairy Crystal, so I was like, you know what, I'll do this, I'll check pet, see what's going on, and once I got the info, I was like, alright, cool, just give me Hookshot Hammer, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, so Humbug actually checked it even sooner than you did, because he did the pyramid before Palace of Darkness. So before he still had an item left in Skullwoods and stuff. So he was actually able to get it before you. We were wondering, because we before you guys got the mirror, he had already checked pet. So we were wondering from our perspective, okay, when's NYRambler going to get back to that pet to check it? But then luckily for you, that mirror showed up, and then yeah, you could just go beat the itemless Skullwoods to get that information.
Yeah, the only thing I regret really is diving Ice Palace the first time. Even though I did get a sword out of it, that turned out to be... I mean, yeah, that was actually... I would have done Ice before Aga, so I would have had to do that anyway, so I'm not too mad then.
Yeah, that's what you had to do, right? If you didn't want to do Aga at all.
It was either do Aga or double dip Ice Palace to get that hook shot.
Or find the potential 4th sword somewhere.
Yeah, maybe big key chest of Eastern Palace had our 4th sword.
Yeah, we both keep that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was scared that the hammer was there for the longest time.
Same.
Yeah, you guys both had to deal with that mental anguish from skipping. Was it really worth the 30 seconds to have to deal with thinking about the whole seed? Who knows?
More than 30 seconds, especially we did get the boots in the chest right after that. So
then you probably right after you dipped out of Eastern Palace. So
yeah.
Like, hey.
Yeah, it's just so rude.
Put that in logic. But yeah, in pre-race chat, because Humbug, when he raced JP, he had to Molder and bounce twice. So he was like, "Oh, I hope Swamp's not a pendant anymore." That's why I put my my file name what it is, and I checked the map and it's Pendant Swamp, and I started laughing. Then
Yeah, I laughed and cried at the same time.
thankfully we still needed to do it.
Yep, which was fine.
Yeah, and the hookshot blocked everything, so
Yep.
no Moldorm bouncing, no hovering here.
All right. So, any closing thoughts to say before we head on out?
If you guys like to, if you're a viewer of a big name Link to the Past streamer and they have a little thing called Play My Seed, steal this one, give it to them, and don't say a word.
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it to him. I was talking about other people. I'm not that mean. Oi! Sorry, I had a cough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Definitely these runners earned a follow today, so more so than ever. Definitely give them a follow for having to endure through this seed. Also, a shout outs to our track. I don't know how to say this name properly. It's like Koiso. Put it in chat. So Koiso, and shout outs to my co-commentator, Captain 1977. Did a great job here getting through this slog of a seed with me.
Yeah, it was quite a seed there. It was fun to watch. I'm sure it wasn't fun to run, but yeah, it was pretty good time to watch. And but stay tuned. There's plenty of random action still to come here on the Speed Gaming Family Channel networks. Coming up at 12:10 p.m. right here on Speed Gaming 2, we have Ninbad versus Walter the Fourth, and followed up possibly Game 3. If Game 3 is first, we're gonna have the same two right here on Speed Gaming 2. Then at the same time at 2:10, we're on Speed Gaming 5. You got Illis versus Matt 7898. Then later on Speed Gaming 3, we got One Up versus Ruck in Game 2 in their matchup. And then later on tonight, 8:40 p.m., we got Days Cloud versus we're on Speed Gaming 6. So lots of good action, and always there's a stream of No Kid Hungry over on Speed Gaming Prime, where you can watch a bunch of retro game speedruns where you can help support No Kid Hungry, and it's a good time, and everyone has fun, and it's for a good cause. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So
Absolutely. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.